bell tolls. The midnight hour is upon us. It's time once again for two internet strangers to discuss the good and evil of the horror genre. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the terror within the Hallow-Holics Anonymous podcast.
I'm sure you're all wondering why I've gathered you here today.
This feels familiar.
Yes, my friends. One of you is...
Yeah, I think we've done this before.
The devil!
Are you serious? You already knew that. You both already knew that. I cursed all of the children in your neighborhood last year and had you run out of town.
Wow, has it already been a year?
I really thought that reveal was going to have a bigger reaction.
To be fair, he looks really different with that haircut. So I was a little surprised. Ready to start the podcast?
Hi, I'm Maddy.
And I'm Corey.
And this is Hallow-Holics Anonymous,
a show dedicated to all things horror and occasionally Halloween and Christmas once a year.
Yeah, exactly. I have to veer off really quickly from the discussion topic to make an important correction on our last episode because my mother was very upset.
Maddie's going to embarrass herself.
She actually hated practical magic. I remembered wrong. I watched it with my grandmother multiple times. She wanted me to make that very clear that she does not like that movie.
See, now that makes me feel weirder for liking it. I feel like if your mom hates it, like I should hate it.
Well, no, but she also hates a lot of good movies.
Okay. I wouldn't go as far as to say it was a good movie. It's
a fun movie. It's junk food.
Yeah, it's the way the 90s thought women needed to feel empowered.
Yeah.
It was wrong, but it tried.
You know, once you go on a Joni Mitchell and Stevie Nicks binge, like bender, really, you know, you need practical magic to level you out.
Yeah, man, 90s girl movies were all about, like, murdering abusive dudes, which I am fully in support of murdering abusive dudes, but, like, Thelma and Louise, Practical Magic... That movie with the scissors.
That movie with the Edward Scissorhands? It wasn't.
No. Wasn't there like Nicole Kidman was running from a guy that stabbed somebody with scissors? Or there's scissors in I don't know.
There's a lot of movie with scissors from the 90s. I mean, Dead Again was not about murdering an abusive boyfriend.
Yeah, it was from faking a death and running from an abusive boyfriend.
No, that's not what Dead Again was about.
I hope you're dead again.
So back to the topic at hand. Another Christmas gifts episode.
Yes. Ho, ho, ho. Hold on a minute.
Thank you. This week, my gift to you was Thale.
Yes, it was Thale, which was passable.
Oh, well, that's okay.
I didn't hate it. I would probably give it, well, I mean, I've already watched it 3 times, but I will probably watch it some other day again in the future. It didn't really change my life, but... Like my gift to you.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's funny because I feel the same way about your gift to me, Mr. Frost.
Oh, really? I thought you were enjoying it a lot.
I still enjoyed it, but like it didn't change my life.
I don't know. That was one of the movies I saw when I was a pseudo-intellectual child, when I thought I was smarter than I really was, as opposed to now when I really am as smart as I think I am.
It's like my obsession when I was 8 with watching Tommy a million times.
Yeah. But I mean, my love,
it's a really good movie.
My love for your movie is like, I'm 14 and I'm deep. Like, I could probably write a post on that subreddit and get like 1 million upvotes.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was always talking about the nature of man and like how far do you go to fight evil, blah, diddy, blah.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
You went. Yeah, you scratched at the surface of that ticket until you just peeled off the backing.
Yep.
Before we move on to our actual movies, though, we have a little bit of news, don't we?
All right, so horror news this week. As many of you probably already know, they are remaking Black Christmas, again, and it's PG-13. This annoys me for a number of reasons. Reason number one, the OG Black Christmas does not need a remake because it's pretty great. Like, everybody loves it. I think it's okay. They remade it a few years ago in like the 2010s or the almost 2010s or whatever. It was actually pretty good. Like,
I loved it too. Yes.
Yeah, like I dug on it. I thought it was good. It was a really good balance of like girl power versus like slasher. You know what I mean?
And it was twisted. It had some fun effects.
Yeah. So what did Hollywood in their eternal wiseness decide to do? Let's make it again. Let's up the girl power and let's make it PG-13 so it appeals to all audiences, which never works. So basically they've taken a formula that in my eyes has worked for them twice and just jamming that nail in the coffin.
I don't think the last one worked out too well. I'm pretty sure it was panned.
I imagine it worked out for me, and I'm the only one that matters. So
I'm kind of conflicted about this one because it was released by Blumhouse. The nicest thing I'm willing to say is that maybe there's an audience out there for this movie, but it's not me.
Maybe. Yeah, me either. I'll see it. I'm definitely not going to like it, but I'm going to see it.
Now, if you are looking for a really good movie that came out recently, guys, and you're willing to watch something that's not a scary movie, Ford versus Ferrari was awesome.
You know, another non-horror movie I've been watching, I want to see Ford versus Ferrari. I gave it absolutely no attention because it just didn't seem like it was anything that interests me until you told me you liked it. Now I want to see it.
I loved it, yeah.
Hulu just sort of like, without too much fanfare, released a show called Reprisals.
Ooh.
It's a pretty great revenge story. Like this woman double crosses her brother's gang or her husband's gang. I'm not sure. I'm not that far into it yet. They try to kill her, leave her alive. Fast forwards to like 10, 20 years later. And it's all about her like setting up a crew to get revenge. But it's sort of this old school pulpy kind of grindhouse feel.
Like I Spit on Your Grave.
Not quite that intense. It's more like
Death Wish?
Yeah, more like Death Wish if Tarantino was a part of it and it took place in the Twin Peaks universe.
Okay.
I guess there's I really like the way the gang is called the Banished Brawlers. They're the bad guy gang, right? And they've got prospects, but apparently they call the prospects the Three River Phoenixes.
Oh.
Which I think is very strange, and I don't know if they'll ever explain the name as an homage to River Phoenix or not. But I thought that's really cool. And it's got everything you want out of a grindhouse gang show. It's got like good bar fights, tough as nails characters, great music, a sort of otherworldly feel to a lot of it. I've been really digging it. It took me away from season 4 of The Expanse, which if you know how big of a fan of The Expanse I am, that takes some doing, but I have put off watching Expanse to finish Reprisal.
You're a bit of a binge watcher, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, of course you are.
I'm kind of a slow binge watcher.
Except when it comes to movies, then you have to watch all 5 sequels.
Yeah. That's probably a mental disorder.
Yeah. Currently, I have a new Julian Sands movie on my watch list. I think it's a nasty bit of business, something like that. A nasty.
Yeah,
something.
I think you mentioned it to me.
Yeah, so it looks interesting, and I gotta say it makes me very sad that Mr. Sands is officially in very old, proper British territory now. Like, old man. Like, he could, someone, remake some Peter Cushing films with Julian Sands.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm gonna look up a picture of him real quick, but I think he's still kind of pretty, though. Yeah, like Julian Sands still looks pretty great. I mean, his hairline has receded. He doesn't have that beautiful long vampire warlock's hair anymore. But he still looks very good. He's aged quite well.
He still looks good. He looks like, though, he's turning into Peter Cushing.
Oh, yeah, I'll give you that. Maybe they can get him into a Star Wars movie then down the road.
Or, a Dracula movie. I'd love to see him, tear up the scene as Van Helsing.
What I would love to see is some sort of sequel to Tale of a Vampire where he's, for some reason, an aged, more wise version of that character.
Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah, we need to talk about that movie sometimes. That's a really, really good movie that completely flew under the world radar. Like, nobody saw it.
Oh, it's a fantastic movie.
It really is.
But it's December 18th.
On this day in horror history.
Oh, yeah, because it's almost Christmas. Yes, of course.
Yeah, those bells are going to be in everything. Every time I remember I have them, I'm going to shake them into this mic.
Sadly, it was more of a tragic day, December 18th. In 2018, Majel Barrett, who played Dr. Christine Chapel on Star Trek, and a name I'm not going to bother to pronounce, but her last name was Troy, passed away in 2008. She was also Gene Roddenberry's wife. Also Edward Norris, who was in The Mystery of Mary Rodgett and The Gorilla.
She wasn't Deanna Troi. She was Deanna Troy's mother. Okay.
Yeah.
Was she?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that now. I can't.
Oksana Troy.
Yeah, that one.
Sorry, you can come to me for any and all of your Star Trek pronunciation needs. I'm a pretty big nerd for the show.
Why am I not surprised? Oh, real quick, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe you need to wrap that up for me.
No. I just wanted to clarify that it is not Deanna Troi that is dead. It is her mother in those episodes. Nobody liked her in Next Generation, but I always thought she was an interesting addition, especially in her last few appearances. Her character got a little more depth and got a little more interesting. So
I think she was absolutely gorgeous in the original series.
Oh, for sure.
Also, when she had Picard pretend to be her jealous lover, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
The only episode I've seen.
I feel like I remember an episode with an interaction between her and Q that was pretty great, but I might have been making that up just out of hope.
And
I'll have to go back and see.
Yeah, that's pretty much most of what happened horror history-wise in December 18th. Not really very horror, but that's because I had December 19th pulled up accidentally, so.
What she means to say is, that was on this day in horror history.
I actually kind of wish the Christmas bells could stay on that. That makes a nice effect.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool.
Okay, before we start workshopping our song and move on to the movies, because we do have to workshop the beginning of our song, guys, because we gotta have a Christmas song. I'm just gonna tell you, I had the best Reddit Secret Santa this year. The best. Well, first I got a cold brew coffee pitcher, and if anybody who really knows me knows that I am a coffee addict. And then I got 2 really badass games I have not played yet. But one of them is called Nyctophobia. And I'm just going to read the back here because it looks really badass. Nyctophobia means fear of the dark. Welcome to the experiential tabletop game that is going to redefine what it means to play a game. That's a bit much, but it's a cooperative game of survival where up to 4 players must work together to escape a maniacal predator chasing them in a pitch-black forest. But there's a wrinkle. Would-be survivors play the game with blackout glasses. Players cannot see the board and have to rely on touch to navigate their way to safety.
Huh.
So
that sounds like it would be very difficult for us to play on the air, but it does sound like a cool game.
Yeah, except it is an audio-only format. I think we'd both have to have copies of the game to play it on the air.
Yeah, well, I'd be willing to, I would buy a game to do something like that, but this doesn't sound like it would translate very well.
This other one might, though. It's called The Bloody Inn. And this, okay, you know how I love 1313 Dead End Drive, right?
Yeah, which is one of my least favorite games ever made.
Really? You hate that game?
I threw it out a window.
Wow. Someone
I got
must have
so
been
mad.
losing.
Somebody was also on a whole lot of mind-altering substances. But yeah, I hated it so much I tossed it out a window.
Well,
the owner of the game was pissed.
Hopefully the Bloody Inn doesn't have that effect on you. France, 1831. In a remote corner of Ardèche, the little village of Perrobay sees numerous travelers pass through. A family of greedy rural farmers is determined to make its fortune and has devised a diabolical stratagem to achieve this goal. Invest in an inn so they can rob traveling guests, getting rich without arousing the suspicions of the police. Whether or not their plan will work, one thing is certain. None of their guests will return.
Well, I like that. Is it so it's Clue-ish?
Yeah, it looks kind of Clue-ish.
Yeah, I could get into that.
Yeah, it's like there's a board game with numbers and a lot of cards and some wooden discs and a rule book. Last year, the Christmas song, Corey. It was beautiful. It was a work of art. It was possibly the best song we have done on this show next to Maniac Cop.
He's a maniac cop, maniac cop, maniac.
It was the 12 Days of Christmas or the 12 Screams of Christmas. I'm not even sure if we named it last year.
I think it was pretty popular among our tens of viewers too. I know that I got a lot of compliments on how much of an ass I sounded like. So I take that as meaning people at least enjoyed it if they're willing to make fun of my nonsense.
So we have to outdo ourselves this year. We've got to workshop a new song that becomes just as much of an instant classic among our tens of listeners.
Madeline, I need to temper your expectations here. We killed it last year. There is absolutely no way we are topping that. I think that we have a chance to do a good song and get close, but we're not like...
You need to believe in yourself. Don't stop believing.
Maddie, I'm going to give it my all, but my all's not going to be enough to beat last year's.
Okay, well, what made last year's song so incredible?
I think that it was the 12 Days of Christmas had a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Christmas, key word there. We need another Christmas song.
You're not listening, and that's okay.
We need another Christmas song to copy, rip off, take the tune, and replace the lyrics with.
Right.
And what better song than something like Good King Wenceslas? This is the point where you say something.
Yeah, this is, sorry, I was changing the ambiance in my studio. AKA turning the lights red. So yeah, I don't know what to say, obviously. I didn't realize this song was what it was until I heard it. And I assume it's not in the public domain. We can't just play part of it.
Well, no, not the Bing Crosby version, no.
Yeah. So I have a feeling we're going to have to, and audience, you won't have to deal with this, but Maddie, I have a feeling you and I are going to have to take occasional remind Corey of the tune breaks for this song. I think I can get away with you humming it at me or whatever you do. Mm-hmm. So we might not have to go back to the song.
But once in a while, we may have to set the chapter book down and pull up some good old Crosby.
Yeah. I would like to say one more thing before we start about Reddit's Secret Santa.
Okay.
My giftee did get his gift. He was a hard one to buy for. He didn't answer half the questions. He just said he really liked Magic and some other stuff. So I got him a starter deck that had a couple of like rare cards. I guess that's something that is important to Magic. I don't know. But he posted, and he seemed to really like it. So I was worried about it, and I was happy that he really dug on it. So
people who explicitly say what they want you to get them, it's kind of meh. Oh
yeah, I don't want that, and I would never buy somebody something when they specifically said they wanted it. That's not fun. But this dude just didn't give me a lot to go on.
Yeah, my person, she was getting surgery, and she's like a teacher, and she likes books. So I sent her a book that looked like it might be like similar to a lot of the stuff she had on her Goodreads list. I sent her a comfy blanket, a little coffee mug that said health potion on it, and some gourmet cocoa. So. Oh,
that's really sweet. Did she get it yet?
She did. She said thank you.
Oh, cool.
All right. Well, yeah, Reddit Secret Santa was pretty fun. But Good King Wenceslas is even funner.
Yes, let's do this thing.
We may not finish the song this episode because we can't spend an hour doing it, but over the course of the rest of the month, we're going to really polish this gem.
Yeah, I think if we dedicate like 15 minutes an episode, we should be able to get to where we need to be by the last one.
So I've got the lyrics pulled up here. Do we want to screen share, or you feel like you can pull the lyrics up too?
God, Jesus, just screen share. You know how lazy I am.
You are a lazy son of a bitch. Okay. So the opening line, I've already got that. I already put that in our chat. I think we've got that locked down. Would you like to tell the listeners what that line is?
Yes, I would love to, but you're giving me motion sickness by scrolling your...
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm just trying to find it. Okay.
Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up Steven.
Why are you putting such a weird emphasis on he?
Because you can burn in hell. Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up Steven.
Oh my gosh.
Is that not good? That's what you wanted, Maddie?
Okay, hold on. Let me just pull this up. I can't believe I have to do this.
People are talking about hitting you. Please tweet at us how much you want to hit Maddie.
I'm gonna have several little musical breaks where it stops the podcast for a second while we play this to figure out the lyrics. Okay. This is a traditional choir version.
You're a traditional choir version.
Thank you. Oh, maybe we should hear the Irish version so you understand how it sounds.
Fine. All right, hold on. Let me try that again. Okay. Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up Steven.
When he sliced up Steven.
Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up Steven, and then... Why can't I get the Steven part right?
I don't know.
Leatherface's mask fell off.
Hold on.
When
We're going to have to hear it again. We're going to have to hear it again.
Steven. Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up a Steven. There's there's a beat there that I'm not getting because you didn't use enough syllables.
Okay, fine. Let's change the lyric, you son of a bitch.
How about this? Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up that Steven.
No, that doesn't work.
Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up Steven. See, we're missing something. Unless you let me go. Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up... Right. Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up Steven.
Okay, how about this?
Did I just
there, I added... Look at this text right here. I added an extra syllable.
Audio Techna AT2020. I have the non-USB, but there is a USB model you might like better. Oh, there, you didn't press return.
I thought you could read it in the chat box, you dick.
I was, but I'm not looking at it just to be an asshole. Because you went to all that trouble to show it to me. Leatherface's mask fell off after he sliced up Steven. That doesn't...
Because I added...
Look, I think I figured out the original ones. Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up Steven.
Oh, so you actually like Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up Steven.
I tried to tell you when you were going off on your micromanaging, I'm going to retype this thing, that I got it right, but you weren't listening because you were already in jerk producer mode.
Listen,
as
it
opposed
is Christmas
to podcast
time.
Partner mode.
It is Christmas time.
Oh, Maddie, is this our first Christmas family fight?
We will have joy. We will have merriment.
There will be wassailing. Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up Steven.
The next one we have to play off of is When the Snow Lay Round About, Deep and Crisp and Even.
When the blood pour round about.
No, that's too similar.
When the blood began to flow.
When the blood spurt?
The light left Steven's eye holes.
No, not Steven's. That's redundant.
You're redundant. The light left his eye holes.
Oh,
I really want to say eye holes.
Iambic pentameter.
When his blood left iambic pentameter. That's not a place, Maddie.
When the snow lay round about. Let's see.
When the blood flow round and round.
When the blood.
Oh, it's going to be like this.
When
Maddie's the whole song.
When the body.
Pretend I don't want to kill her. Oh, I'm thinking out loud. I'm so sorry. Strike that from the record.
Okay, you give me a good lyric.
I did.
What was it?
You took it away, and I got depressed and forgot it.
You're gaslighting me.
I think I'm gaslighting myself too. All right. You say your words, and then I will mock them and change them.
Okay. Well, wait. You don't want me to start with the first line?
No. I like the first line because I can finally sing it right.
Okay. When the bright blood spurted out.
When his lifeblood spurted
When
out.
his lifeblood spurted out. I like that.
Okay.
When his lifeblood spurted out. Actually, I think we should just keep deep and crisp and even.
When his lifeblood splurted out. Warm and red and clotty.
No. Deep and crisp and even. Okay, well, let's get that
Please,
lyric.
Maddie, explain to me what is crisp about blood.
It's a bright color that's crisp.
Sweet holy Lord.
When the lifeblood spurted out. Something. Yeah, I think we got it.
Children screamed and ran away.
Wait, screaming, something, screaming. Okay, we got a word.
Scream. So we're starting with screaming and ending with
No,
screaming.
we're ending with screaming. Like, deep and crisp.
Bystanders were screaming.
Ooh, that's close. Bystanders were screaming. Screaming, really.
Semantics, but okay.
Yeah. Bystanders were screaming. I like that. You do the first line, I'll do the second.
Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up Stephen.
When the lifeblood spurted out, bystanders were screaming.
I'm happy with this so far.
Okay. All right. So do we want to finish this first stanza and that'll be it for this episode?
I believe you meant stanza, Madeline.
Oh, what did I say?
Standa or stan. You said it wrong.
Up.
I don't remember how. You can go back and play the tape later. All right, let me see the lyrics again. Shadows descend the darkest night.
No, not night. I feel like we need to get more monsters into this. Not just, Leatherface. There needs to be some goodwill from his fellow killers. Frightly.
Pumpkinhead was called that night.
Pumpkinhead was called that night. That might work.
Might.
I have to know what the next
Though
line
he
is.
was not needed.
Can you think of a monster that uses dead people for fuel?
Yes, the United States government.
But
Politics!
we're nonpartisan here, nonpartisan.
Are we, Maddie? What was your favorite thing that happened today?
I took my naproxen.
There you go. Hide the truth, Maddie. Blood blocked out the moon.
No more blood, no more blood.
Blood.
blood. Blood.
Blood.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those jingle bells. Maybe, okay, shake them a little, see if that'll inspire us.
My magical bells. No, that's racist.
Mighty.
I feel like we've got to combat brightly. It's got to be like shadows cast. Wait, this is how we can introduce the next monster.
Oh yeah.
Shadows cast a darkened you.
Oh, that doesn't even remotely seem like rhyme. I'm fine with
No, this is perfect. Shadows cast their dark you.
Oh, you're taking the meaning of the words.
My man Radu.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what's that whole lyric?
Shadows cast a darkened you over the face of my man Radu.
Okay, now sing it to the right tune.
Shadows cast a darkened you over the face of my man Radu.
Well, I guess this is a collaborative effort.
If you hate it that much, I'm open to interpretation. These do not contain any of my ego. I do that on purpose so you don't make me mad when...
No,
Right.
Shake the jingle bells. We'll start the song.
Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up Stephen.
When the lifeblood spurted out, bystanders were screaming.
Shadows cast a darkened view over the face of my man Radu. That really doesn't fit super well.
It was cute though.
I'm down with cute. Cute is fine.
Let's keep it. You know what? This lyric screams Corey wrote this. I think we can keep it.
Fair enough. All right. How many more do we need to do before we're out of our first?
We have one more line. When a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel.
When death in robes.
Then a Mormon scream and fright. Is scream?
Scream is not a thing.
Shakespeare could come up with words. Damn it, so can I.
Yeah, I believe we learned in our last movie or two behind that Shakespeare was not the one that came up with that. It was Christopher Marlowe.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, Roger Corman.
Had a fight. Gathering some footage.
Roger Corman had a fight. Gathering bogus footage. That work?
I don't know. I don't know that part of the song well enough to say yes, but the lyrics work for me.
Oh, how about campy?
Better.
Campy? Okay.
Yeah. Roger Corman had a fight, gathering campy footage.
Gathering
That's
campy
close, right?
footage.
Footage.
There we go. Okay. Begin those jingle bells, my man.
Leatherface's mask fell off when he sliced up Stephen.
When the lifeblood spurted out, bystanders were screaming.
Shadows cast a darkened view over the face of my man Radu.
Roger Corman had a fight, gathering campy footage. It's good enough.
Yeah, I think I'm not hitting that third line well, and I'll get to it. Like once our final performance occurs.
Yeah, you're gonna have to listen to this song a dozen more times, and if you have to find another version somehow better than the brilliant Irish one I tracked down for us,
I'll get it. I'll figure it out.
I'll have to reference that Irish video later for everybody so they can truly look it up themselves and appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. A lot of hiding behind statues in that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hiding behind statues and some Irish dancing. Probably some drinking. They are Irish.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. I'm Irish.
As am I. A little bit. Also, I drink. Too much.
Oh.
I've been drinking alcoholic lattes lately.
Oh, alcoholic lattes.
Yeah. It's like a new thing you can buy, I guess.
Who is Mr. Frost?
No one has been able to turn up the...
Who is Mr. Frost? Jeff Goldblum, yo.
There's no official trace of him.
No official trace.
What has he done?
Well, it killed people, clearly.
Yeah, like a bunch.
Frost is not mentally ill, Dr. Day. He has no place in your hospital.
He's evil.
What does
Evil absolute. Warlock callback.
I'm the Gaga Man.
It wasn't Warlock. That was Halloween.
Spoke to you.
No, it's said in Warlock too.
Oh, is
It
it?
used to be simple.
Well, dang.
On one hand, evil on the other. There was a struggle.
He's evil. Evil absolute.
But then you came along, the scientists, the geniuses.
You know, he did a great job of playing seductive and still kind of a dick while he was being seductive.
I really like the symbolism of him knocking the chess pieces over like he was on Earth to change the board. I thought that was a pretty cool little heavy-handed bit of symbolism. And the fact that those two, the Black Bishop and the White Queen, didn't fall off, representing the Doctor and him, I really like that.
Alan Bates,
He had the power to crush me completely.
Kathy Baker,
You want me to murder you?
What do you mean? What do you think I'm kidding?
Cold,
I'm a big Alan Bates fan. I think they could have done more with him as a character.
I don't know what else he's been in that I've seen.
Oh, I'll give you a breakdown.
Okay. And I can look him up too.
Yeah. You actually might not have seen the films he's in. He's probably more famous for stuff like, he was in Georgie Girl, and he was also in one of my favorite movies that I've watched a dozen times, King of Hearts, about a Scottish soldier who's supposed to go investigate Nazis in a French village, but the French village actually evacuated because there was a bomb that was going to go off there, and they left the mental hospital unguarded, so everyone got out of the mental hospital and started playing make-believe, and he thought they were the townspeople. It's a charming movie.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
I have seen him in The Sum of All Fears, The Mothman Prophecies, Gosford Park.
He's in Zorba the Greek.
I don't think I've seen Zorba the Greek.
It's an alright movie. It's kind of...
I feel like you've told me to watch it before, though.
Oh, yeah, probably. I've told you to watch a lot of movies. But Mr. Frost Mr. Frost isn't about Alan Bates.
No.
The dark truth the world most feared has come to roost. You see, Jeff Goldblum, that lovable celebrity who always seems to enjoy the company of his fans, is actually the devil. Mr. Frost is a hard-hitting documentary about that one time in the early 90s he committed genocide and went into a mental hospital. This was, there was a certain style to this movie I was trying to put my finger on, because it didn't feel like a typical made-for-TV movie, but it felt really familiar, and so I looked into the director. I haven't actually seen any of his stuff, because it is mostly TV film, but this was a French-American production. It was directed by Philippe Sabon, French director and writer. Most of his work is in TV film, and he also co-wrote this script with Derry Hall, Brad Lynch, and Louise Vincent. But by the time I looked that up, I was like, oh, it's because it felt French. This whole movie felt French. French movies seem to always be about a conversation between two characters on two extreme opposite ends of some kind of philosophy, and it either ends with a tie or something very unfulfilling.
Right.
That's just the philosophy of French cinema.
I don't know. I thought this was pretty fulfilling at the end, although it's not the end everybody was expecting. My gripe about this movie is I think it is an excellent plot that is well acted, but poorly shot.
I can see that.
Yeah. I don't like the way it was shot.
Also, I really like Alan Bates, and I just think they could have either written a better character or given him better scenes. I think, for instance, him revealing how he discovered or how he had watched the tape. Jeff Goldblum gave him a tape. He was the police officer at the beginning of the film who basically discovers that this guy who seems kind of weird but nice is a serial killer. And then when he was being arrested, he gave Alan Bates a tape, and rather than being a responsible police officer and turn it in as any form of evidence, he watched it, and we can only assume it's actually footage of him torturing and murdering people.
Actually, I think he did turn it in. I think he made a copy before he did. I think he said something like that.
All right.
I'd like to talk about when he got caught and arrested, though, because that was
a good scene.
The scene that pulled me into this movie and will even if the rest of the movie was terrible, I would still watch this movie every year for that scene.
That is what pulled me in. I will admit that.
That he's just so matter-of-factly the whole time telling the truth. Oh, I just finished burying those bodies you're here to ask about. And the cop's like, haha, yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. And then all of a sudden his face changes and his eyes just go blank. And he's like, I'm not joking, or whatever he said. I was just Goldblum killed it in this role. It was such a subtle performance. Yeah, well, he
can be a very subtle actor. He just picks over the top roles.
Yeah.
I felt like this movie was kind of trying to be too many genres. But I think one of my biggest nitpicks is when you find out why Alan Bates' character truly believes Jeff Goldblum is the devil, and it's because they had one sort of interview when Goldblum was in police custody, and he told him about how he brought up the fact that Alan Bates' wife had been murdered, and her final thoughts were cursing him for not being there. I mean, he could have easily found out that the guy's wife had been murdered and he wasn't there. Any man who felt guilty about that would have thought that his wife hated him, or would have had a breakdown hearing those words. I would have preferred to have seen memories forced on him, visions forced on him, I guess. Yeah,
I agree with that. They did it a little better when he gets to the new psych ward. And he basically proves he can do what he does. I forget exactly what magic trick he did at the beginning there, but it was very obviously not something you could fake. It wasn't a sleight of hand. I forget what it was. But everybody just kind of played it off as whatever, it's a trick.
Turning something into liquid gold.
Oh, yeah, that's what he was. He took her ring and just melted it in his hand. And she's like, nice trick, and walked out. How is that a trick? You just melted metal with your hand. Yeah. Obviously, you're the devil. That's when you start buying into his shit, not later on. You don't need anything else proven after that. I did like that every element of this film kind of seemed to be about a different character's struggle with him as the devil in different ways. I would have liked to have dug more into that.
And I saw no reason for everyone to treat the lady doctor, Kathy, like as poorly as they did.
I kind of get why they did that too, because it was very much a boys' club back then, and I'm sure she was just
isolating. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to like show that like people weren't willing to take her serious enough to truly be in charge with Frost.
I think they were either too heavy-handed on that, or they just didn't make it obvious enough that that's had an impact on her relationship with Frost.
I can see that point of view.
Yeah,
I'm not going to argue that.
Like a separate storyline altogether.
Yeah.
Oh, this movie kind of reminded me of, have you ever seen Nomads?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was a movie that came out in 1986. Pierce Brosnan plays a dude with a really bad French accent who's obsessed with demons, played by Mary Warnov, our favorite, and Adam Ant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the cheap
Actually, that
camera
sounds
stuff
like I've seen it.
Yeah, the cheap camera work kind of reminded me of this movie. So, if you really enjoy this movie, check out Nomads. I kind of couldn't get past the camera work on that one, though.
Yeah, I may have trouble with that.
Also, I really felt like they should have cast someone younger than Mary. Not that I don't love her, but her, like, being in her 40s, playing this, like, supposedly immortal punk demon, should have had someone probably in their 20s for that.
Yeah, I can't believe I haven't seen, like, I used to sing, like, if there was anything remotely punk rock in a movie, like, I sought it out when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah, it's totally a Corey movie.
Yeah, I've for sure seen the cover of this before.
Back to Jeff Goldblum, though. I think he is officially one of my favorite devil performers now.
He's one of mine.
Yeah.
He also balances out the universe by playing a character that thinks he's God in some other movie. I haven't been able to pin down exactly which one that was yet.
Well, in some ways, you could say The Fly, but...
Oh, no, it wasn't The Fly. It was more lighthearted than The Fly.
Yeah. I will say this, though. Even though I'm not a huge fan of him in general, Robert De Niro is still the best devil. He's the best Satan.
Oh, Louis Cypher.
Mm-hmm.
These disgusting raw eggs, or hard-boiled eggs. I like hard-boiled eggs, but I hated watching him peel those for some reason.
Well, it's because it's supposed to be, like, unappealing. It's unappealing.
Yeah.
It's the nails. It's the dirty nails.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there was one really cool camera trick I loved in this movie, Mr. Frost, and that was the crosses in the eyes.
Yeah, that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool.
You saw the crosses in Frost's eyes, and then as he sort of began to almost, I guess you could say, possess her, in a way.
Yeah, I think that's what I think happened at the end.
And you saw the crosses reflected in her eyes, too.
Mm-hmm.
Also, his hair is just glorious.
Yeah, it is. He does rock long hair pretty well.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the ending at all?
I think I want people to go see this movie, but at the same time, it's out of print, not super simple to find.
Yeah. It's a 1990 TV film.
Yeah. I can't believe this was a TV film, man. TV used to put good films out.
Well, I mean, you're talking about a time like less than a decade and a half after HBO came onto the scene. HBO was making movies like this when they started, so it's not too surprising to me.
Yeah, in fact, I think that Split Second, that Rutger Hauer movie, I think that was an HBO production.
It might have been, yeah.
I forget.
I feel in the end I didn't quite... Do you think he knew? Or do you think he was nodding to her because he approved of what she'd done?
I think he nodded because he approved that she killed him, but I don't think she knew, if we're going the possession route, I don't think he knew that happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is going to be, if there was a sequel, it would have been her as the antagonist, pushing the inspectors further down the road to insanity, I think.
Yeah. That's possible.
Not that I want a sequel, because I want to be able to sit here and talk about potential places this could go afterwards. I don't want to actually see it. This is one of those movies that I'm totally happy with one of.
Well, I could see it just being sort of him continuing to do what he did to her, just finding a new route to do it. Going through her, infecting others, possessing others. He's found a place where he can target the most vulnerable and cause the most harm. You saw that example in the young man that he sent out to kill his father and to commit murder.
To murder like every religious man he could find.
Yeah, a young man who wasn't evil, who was just weak.
Yeah, weak and depressed.
And I think Frost probably saw opportunity in that field now that he kind of understood it a bit more.
Mm-hmm. This felt a lot like you can draw pretty much a straight line from this movie to Session 9. Have you ever seen Session 9?
Oh, I love Session 9.
Yeah, I feel like the demon that sort of takes over the guy in that could have been Mr. Frost 20 years later. You know?
That's a good point.
Yeah, it really felt similar to me.
I just feel like this film, I would have been more satisfied if certain elements had been darker, cleaner, and better put together. If they'd had maybe more time or a bigger budget, it could have been a phenomenal movie.
Or better editors would have gone a long way to...
Yeah. I just didn't feel like the whole thing was there, but I thought it was a good watch.
Yeah. Like I really only enjoy this movie because of Jeff Goldblum's dialogue and just generally how the plot flows. I could totally
oh yeah, his frustration,
get rid of everything else.
His anger as the devil talking about the modern world. And that's probably one of the best speeches about it I've seen. Usually the devil's actually pretty usually the devil's actually pretty happy about the modern world because people abandon their beliefs. This devil is upset because if they abandon their beliefs, they also abandon their beliefs in him. Yeah,
which generally means that gods lose power the less people believe in them.
Yeah. Now the next movie that we're going to talk about is the one that you got in your horror pack. I had not actually planned to assign you that movie, but when I found out that was the movie you got and you seemed to think it was going to be terrible, I knew we had to act.
Yeah. And I will concede it wasn't terrible. Like it's not something that I would seek out groups of people to watch with me, but I'll watch it again someday.
It's a movie that'll kind of stick with you.
Yeah.
A long time ago, we who were to become humans started to realize the strength in numbers. This is subtitles.
There is a dubbed version on the Blu-ray, though, which actually isn't too bad.
Yeah, so we flocked and adopted. You watched it dubbed?
Both. I did 2 subtitled, 1 dubbed.
Yeah. Yeah, they're giving a speech that wasn't really in the movie. In this trailer. They're talking about deviants thriving in the wild. And there's a little girl, you see a monster.
That is in part of the tapes.
It is?
I do some of that instead. Maybe not all of it.
And oh man, the music. I love it. You like the music, right?
I love the music. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love the music. I love the setting. There's not much I didn't like about this movie. I just don't think it flowed the way I wanted it to. Maybe. I don't know.
It's slow. The pacing is slower.
Yeah. And I'm okay with slow as long as it flows from place to place well. I just things were a little sudden.
Yeah. The actress is absolutely stunning.
Yeah. She played a wild animal perfectly. Yeah, there's not a lot out there about this because it's kind of a lower budget film too. Yeah. I will say they should have gone practical on the spirits. That was terrible CGI.
Oh, it was, but at least we didn't see them much.
Yeah.
At least the tail could have been physical. That would have been better.
And I like that for the amount we see her naked, the main woman, I like that they used a pretty natural body, flaws and all. She had a little bit of a tummy, they didn't pick some like super skinny girl, like her boobs were obviously real. Like they went with a very natural looking person, which they needed to do in that role coming from where she came from, you know?
Yeah.
I respected that choice. All right. So my movie is Thale or Thale. Mostly Thale. Yeah.
Yeah. Just call it Thale.
Yeah. It is about two boys who discover a young lady bathing in milk and the conversations they have after that.
Oh, now you made it sound very French.
Yeah, I really did. No, all right. These two guys, Elvis and Leo, they clean up crime scenes. And it got really confusing the first time I watched this because I didn't get, like, I realized they got the phone call to be called somewhere else, but they didn't do any sort of travel piece in between. So I thought they didn't actually go to that second place and they were still at the first place. So my first watch was a little confusing. It didn't clarify until number 2.
I can see that.
Yeah. So yeah, they get to this second crime scene the next day and they have a great conversation where Elvis, who is new to this and has a very disgusting puking scene in the opening of the movie, like seriously, like made me sick. He's just standing by this lake swaying in the wind and his buddy Leo asks him what he's doing and he says, I'm swaying in the wind. And I totally get that. After such a stressful experience, he just wanted to like let nature take him over for a minute so he could like chill out. And I respect that.
The moments between these two characters I felt were really important in kind of making you just like them and sympathize with them. They were very good at least doing that.
Mm-hmm. And the way Leo's reaction or non-reactions, Leo doesn't react to anything in this movie until the end where he smiles because of the good news. And that was such a powerful moment because they gave him nothing else throughout the whole thing. I thought he was written and played perfectly and directed perfectly.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, they're cleaning up this dead old man's house who was found. Part of him was found in the house. The rest they think animals may have carried away. So they're looking for all that. They find a hidden room. In said hidden room, they find a series of audio cassettes that, feature an old man talking about, the experiments he's doing on a young woman that they found in the forest. And then all of a sudden this young woman emerges from her milk bath, which we get another great Leo scene here because she grabs Elvis and is choking him. And he's just like, hey, my name's Leo. You're killing him. You can't choke him like that. He can't breathe.
Yeah.
This is so great. So she calms down. They get her some clothes to wear. And, one of the things I read about this, Hedora or whatever she is, Fae folk, we'll call it Fae folk. She instills,
trust
and empathy in people. And they definitely felt that whether she was doing this to them or they were just generally good people. I feel like because of the way this ends, they were generally good people.
I think so.
So if there was some influence, there wasn't much. So Leo goes and calls his cop buddy to say they found a victim because at this point they thought it was just a normal victim. And Elvis stays down there with him listening to these tapes. And you sort of get this interesting narrative through the tapes about what this girl and her mad scientist captor / protector.
Foster father
eventually went through, and it turns out he worked for some shadowy agency that were looking to steal children of the forest to experiment on them, to find their powers and probably exploit them. He ended up leaving and taking her with them. And this also speaks well for him as a character because they end up out in the woods and they're caught by the fairy folk and he manages to pull her away and keep her with him, but they don't kill him. And as we see later, they have no problem killing for their own.
Yeah.
He even has to go as far at one point as to cut off her tail. And he does this to try to keep her with him. Like it's not out of malice or a punishment. It's because he's trying to see if this can help her lead a more normal life when she didn't really need it. It's misplaced because she doesn't need to lead a normal life. She needs to lead her life that he's not letting her do. And at this point, it's because of attachment.
I also think he was concerned that the people from that government project would manage to find her out there. Because I think he did kind of see her as his daughter.
Yeah. There were scenes like the cuddling by the fire and stuff. He definitely felt some paternal stuff there. So yeah, we get a whole bunch of backstory that we just kind of covered, and then the shadowy government agency shows up and gasses Thale and Leo and Elvis. And then we get the fabulous. Okay, this is when the movie gets so good. Leo and Elvis are taken out in the woods to be questioned and then presumably shot. Thale manages to hide herself back in her milk bath with this gas mask she had been playing with the entire movie. It was great foreshadowing. And then she comes up out of that milk bath like Rambo coming up out of the swamp behind someone out to murder. And she just goes straight up like animal backed in the corner feral. And it's played so well. She just plays an animal so perfectly where like these people are being okay with me. I'm learning to trust them. You know, I'm opening up to them. But as soon as she feels like she's in danger, she lashes out and straight murders a bunch of dudes with nothing but her hands and a horseshoe. Like that scene where she just slowly pushes that horseshoe into that guy's torso was badass. She stabs a dude through the eyes with that thing. It's so cool. And then she gets out, and this is an older movie. I think maybe see it if you want to, but I'm definitely going to ruin it. She escapes. She kills everybody in there and blows up the house just in time because this other shady government guy is about to shoot Leo in the back of the head. At this point, the rest of the Fae folk in the woods come, slaughter this doctor dude just in time for Thale to walk up and sits down in front of Leo and does some stuff because Leo, we find out, and this is really weird too, Leo has been hiding the fact that he has lung cancer from his friend Elvis.
Well, he's been chewing gum the whole movie too to kind of like mask some of the coughing probably.
Yeah. But Leo has been hiding the fact that he has a 5-year-old illegitimate child. So they were just weird things to hide from your friends. Anyways, flashback to this wood scene. She bends down and basically heals him. She takes his cancer away because she's a magical milk bath lady. And there's a great scene where they try to explain that like this chick is like a magical creature from the woods, and the cop's just kind of shaking his head looking at them. And then he goes gets tested and finds out he doesn't have cancer anymore, tells his friend. They're still going to work together. He offers him another job and gives him an advance and turns to be like, this money's not for you. And then he turns around and there's his kid and the baby mama. And it's sort of a step towards healing for everyone, I guess, would be a good way to look at it. It ends on a pretty positive note. It also ends with Thale running off to be part of her real people. I also like the way that they kind of insinuated that the children of the forest, well, they don't even insinuate, they study and mention that if they're brought into our world as kind of a defense mechanism, they'll evolve to look more like us as opposed to more like them.
Yeah.
And I think that's another way so people feel bad or sorry for them, you know, because they look so much like us. But in their feral form, they certainly do not. They are like straight up predators in their feral forms.
You know, you mentioned it was weird that one didn't know the other had cancer, the other didn't know about the child. I think if they weren't brothers, then these were probably friends who'd been estranged for several years, and he came to him looking for a job.
Yeah, I think that's probably what happened. Like Elvis was having trouble paying his bills, and these guys like were best friends at high school or something, and he was like, hey, I really need help, and dude helped him.
Because their conversations were kind of awkward too until the end.
Yeah, true.
But they did a really good job of implying that relationship without having to really go into much backstory there.
Yeah, like I didn't love this movie, but I definitely didn't hate it. I think a little more budget, maybe a little more practical effects, I would have definitely felt a lot better about it.
It's better than you probably thought it would have been. If I
Oh, yeah, I thought it would have been terrible. Like, when I looked at the cover art, I thought it was crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was Mr. Frost and Thale. Both movies just worth watching.
Yeah. Apparently, the only last thing I have with Thale is the entire set of the interiors were shot in Alexander's parents' basement in Norway.
Well, damn, they did a good job of aging and grossifying it because it looked pretty janky.
Yeah, they did.
I said, what are you doing? What are you doing down there? Don't worry, Mom. Are you going to clean up when you're done?
We'll have to see how much damage I do during filming. What?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what I got. That's Thale.
Well, if you would like to know more about this magical movie, you probably shouldn't seek out information from us because we pretty much gave you most of what we know. But if you want to check out our blog, you can find us at hallow-holic.blogspot.com or hallow-holic.wordpress.com.
And if you feel the need, please send us a tweet at nowhere23 or by searching Hallow-Holics.
You can also email us at hallow-holics@outlook.com.
The man behind me is saying he's going to force me to ride a skateboard downhill backwards with no protection if I don't tell you to go to podpedia.org and search our portal, HHA.
That's a little reckless.
Yeah, I think he's running out of ideas.
At least he doesn't like make you walk a gauntlet and then put like weird fish and like corn at the end of it.
He did say something about American Ninja Warrior with razor blades, though.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, we'll see.
Well, before we log out for the night, I've just got to ask you, Satan, what do you do on Christmas?
Well, thank you for asking, Maddy, because it's very rare that anybody's concerned about what Satan does. But, I think I don't do anything that a normal family does on Christmas. We all get together, we have some food,
Wait, all of you?
Well, my family.
You have a family?
Yeah, I made a family down here. Your family doesn't have to be people you share blood with or people that created you. They can be friends you meet along the way.
Oh, y'all don't share blood down there?
Well, we do, but it's for food and torture. It's not for family.
All right.
If that makes sense. So yeah, me and some of the other demons get together. We do a secret Santa. We do a white elephant. We've got a tree made out of human parts.
Oh.
It's kind of jammed together wherever we want to put them. We don't use traditional lights. We use because all these body parts are still alive. This is how we've got to torture them.
Okay.
So what we do is we hang a whole bunch of tasers all over this tree, and we sing Christmas carols, press the taser button, watch people hurt, sing our songs, eat some turkey-looking food, but it's definitely not turkey if you know what I mean.
I can't imagine it is.
Yeah, so that's what I do for Christmas. Some of the other guys are they make fun of us, but we have fun down here. We have fun.
Well, I guess I'm glad you enjoy yourself, but I also simultaneously hope I'm kind of never a part of those festivities.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You're on the fence, I'm not going to lie, but
oh, shit.
I'd have to check in my book to tell you for sure, and that's, it's kind of a need-to-know basis thing, so.
All right, well.
Yeah.
Good night, Satan.
I'll see you. Yeah, I got a lot of planning to do, so I'm going to go finish the Christmas plans.
Man, he is such a nice guy.
But he didn't. Does he have a list?
Oh, yeah. How do you think people get down there?
Oh. Do you think
he doesn't just pick them at random? I don't know. I probably only looks at it once. At this point, I bet he has a database.
Yeah, well, it is 2019.
Yeah, and I bet a lot of software developers go to hell. So he's probably got all kinds of cool shit by now.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Okay, I've just got to say that monologue was perfect.
Yeah, I think it went really well.
Oh, man. Oh, we didn't tell people what we were going to talk about next week.
Oh, we can throw that in now. I actually don't remember. Is it Vampires of Havana next?
I think that's the last one we're doing this month.
Oh, so this is Killer Tongue and Cherry Falls.
Yes, it's Killer Tongue and Cherry. So real quick, I'll go. Oh, but first, real quick, Corey, can you go ahead and open the gift I have for you for next week?
Yes, I would love to. Sounds of paper wrapping, blah, blah, blah. Oh, apparently Maddie got me something called The Killer Tongue.
Oh, it's a masterpiece.
You know, it's interesting because why don't you open the movie I gave you, because people have to use their tongues in the movie I gave you.
Oh, great. Awesome. Huh. It's Cherry Falls.
Yeah, it's a movie about a serial killer that only kills virgins, and like the town is going crazy trying to like lose their virginity or figure out who's doing it. It's pretty funny.
Well, mine, the killer tongue pretty much goes without saying it's about a killer tongue.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night. Thanks for listening.